Hello and welcome to Eternal Durdles. I'm your host, Zach Clark, and with me as always, Phil Bleckman. Phil, how's it going, man?
Yippee-ki-yay, Zach. What's going on, buddy?
It's going well. It's going well. We've got a really great episode for everybody today. We've got a guest. We'll introduce our guest in just a moment. Before we get into that, I wanted to bring up our sponsor, MoxField.com. Everybody knows about MoxField. It's one of the all-time best deck building websites. Made by friends of the show, and also it works on your PC, it works on your Mac, it works on your phone. You don't even need an app. It's just an all-around great place to share your deck lists for Legacy, for Commander, you name it.
What we need is them to create their microchip so we can implant it in our brains, and then I can see all of my deck lists whenever I think about them.
Yes. Well, with that said, also don't forget to like and subscribe while you're at it. Let's just get that out of the way too. Without further ado, I want to introduce our guest, Remy of Remy MTG, a great Magic comedian, parody artist. It's a pleasure to have you, Remy. How are you, man?
Thanks for having me. No, I'm really excited to be back.
Yeah, man. I want to say, gosh, it was probably early 2020, mid 2020 when we last saw you on the cast.
Yeah.
It's certainly been
a
too
little
long.
while. It's been a little while. It was, but it was a blast that time, and that's why I've been looking forward to coming back on.
I think the last time you joined us on an episode, it was when you had your trajectory of YouTube stardom. I know that you had previously developed a stellar YouTube channel that had a bajillion people subscribe to it, but I think when you started specifically the Magic, I'm making these music video parody songs part of your, it was early on. You hadn't reached the stardom level that you've reached now, because Zach and I are starstruck.
It's true.
Well, I've had that. I had the beta test MoxField chip already implanted in me.
Ah, there we go.
And I just kind of exude it now. It's one of the positives of having the procedure done.
You don't even have to look up what magic card rhymes with annoy. You can just go for it.
No, it's just right in. It just pops right up. It's some AI tools already pre-built into there. No, it's been I think last time, honestly, that I was on, I was just kind of thinking that was kind of during COVID and everything was at the start. We're all just kind of at our house, and I was like, oh, this is this project that I really wanted to do. Surely I'll run out of ideas after 3 months.
Yeah, there's not infinite possible combinations of magic cards and songs that you could put together.
Yeah, I guess you never say never. But one thing is for sure, it's been so fun, and it's still so fun, and I've gotten to just stuff like this, get to meet and talk to people that otherwise I wouldn't have, especially as somebody who's played the game for so long, and knowing shows and following things, and it's cool to just wouldn't it be cool to just chat with those guys, and that stuff's pretty cool too.
Yeah, that's one of the things I like the most about the Magic creating community is being able to just get other people to hang out with and talk about the process and whatnot. And it's funny because as a kid, you've been playing. How long have you been playing Magic for, Remy?
Well, so I got into it in 1994 when my friends were playing it at school, and I was like, oh, this just looks ridiculous. And then I got some cards and I played with them, and then I got super into it. And so we played. That was when it was a big kind of a fad at that time.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. I was
Satanic
95,
Panic.
so yeah.
Satanic Panic. Oh God.
Yeah. Some of that. So it was revised and the Dark was out. But then after that it kind of burned off. We didn't really play. Every now and then we would buy a starter deck and go back to somebody's house and play it. And so it was kind of on and off for probably over 10 years after that. And I really got back into it. I never played a match of Magic. We would play games, but 2 of 3 sideboard, things like that were not
you had
part
your
of our
basement crew,
vernacular.
right?
Yeah. But it was like 2010, I think I discovered, because I didn't really have any friends that were into it as much anymore. I was like, well, let me go to a store and play. And so I decided to go I played a standard thing. And I was just like, 2 out of 3 with sideboards. It's like this whole other beast.
Yeah.
And it's so fun, like it just, there's a strategic level to it that's just completely different. So basically nonstop since about then.
Yeah, I remember getting back in like 2012 and being like, well, I'm 32-year-old man, and I wandered into a shop and I saw a bunch of other guys my age playing, and I was like, oh, adults do this? I'm back in.
Yeah. No, it's true. I come to think of it, like if I go to an event, like I don't see any kids that are my age. Like, I mean, maybe they're playing kind of non-tournament, but it's surprising. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had to incubate for a few years before I started playing in tournaments.
When I first started learning to play, I had played a bunch of other card games when I was a kid. Like I played Pokemon, I played Yu-Gi-Oh, I played like all the other card games when I was a wee lad. So when I first started learning to play Magic, I sat down at a table with people who I had only met because they were playing Magic and I was looking to learn, and they played at the same card shop. I sat down, I cast my first creature. I was like, okay, I'm getting the hang of this. And then when I attacked, I tried to attack their creature. Everybody laughed at me, and then I knew that I was going to be playing this game for the rest of my life. So, what, Remy, if you were to recount all of your years playing Magic, what would you say is the funniest, embarrassing moment that still sticks with you? The way me trying to attack a creature, assuming that's how things worked, was.
They're more probably in hindsight than me processing them at the time. I mean, when I look back at, for example, my views on deck building back then, I remember you would open like a pack of revised, at least I would, and you would get like a dual land. You'd be like bummed out. I would be so bummed out. I was like, oh, I wanted like a Island Fish Jasconius or something like that. I wanted a force of nature. I don't want this. We would trade, me and my group of friends. There was one friend of ours he liked the dual lands, and we would trade our dual lands to him and just think like, what's wrong with this guy? Why does he want these lands? And then sure enough,
yeah, was a visionary is what he was.
Yeah. But I would put like all the cards I owned into one big stack. It would probably be 80% cards, 20% lands, 5 colors. And wonder why I lost.
It's still a mystery, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the 1995 cube.
Yeah, exactly.
Like everything you own into a stack, before Battle of Wits existed, so it wasn't even like, something you could say that it was in your deck. The reason why I ask about when you started the game is because for me, I started around the same era, and always in the back of my head, I started working at a comic shop when I was like 16 or 17, and we used to have Magic Sundays all the time. So in my head, one of the very first things to sort of loop this into the parody thing was I was trying to get a band together to make a Magic parody song of Manic Monday and turn it into Magic Sunday, but like none of my friends had any talent. And so it's wild now that in the era of technology that we're in, that you don't have to have like a band to like get together to like create the parody with you and that whole thing. There's ways around that, and I think that's one of the really cool things about the whole parody scene is like being able to just be like, okay, like there's a way to figure this out.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I mean, it's really cool, just like the stuff that's preloaded on laptops and the stuff you can easily download on your phone. I think 100% of the videos on, I think all the music videos on the channel, all the skits are just, I film them all on my phone. Like phone, the camera on the phones these days, they're just so good.
Yeah.
And the mics are good.
Yeah, the mics and the cameras are just amazing on phones now. And the fact that like you can basically cut an entire music video on like, something you just have in your pocket is pretty amazing.
It is. It really is.
We did our first like real music video last week. You've seen it, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I liked it. Yeah.
But But yeah,
Remy,
a lot of that was like seeing you do it and being like, okay, well, like I see what you're doing here, and I think I can pull this off. I just have to like just try, like
it's just fun, like
Yeah,
it's
super fun.
just such a fun process.
Remy, did you have a background in performance before starting your channels?
A little bit, when I was in school, I always loved like comedy growing up, and I liked musical comedy growing up, and I liked writing little parody songs in the notebook margins instead of doing actual schoolwork during class and stuff like that. It never seemed like something I would do, but it just seemed like something I liked. But my last year of college, every year there was like a talent show in like high school and college. And you'd be like, oh, maybe I would do like stand-up comedy, try that out. I didn't. But then I was like, it was a senior year of college, and I was like, well, this is going to be basically my last chance in life to try this out. So I may as well try it out now. So I signed up, and then you had to like figure out what are you gonna do. So like, kind of wrote a set, and I had so much fun, and it went well, and I was just kind of like hooked. So I would do like some open mic nights. I was living and going to school in Wheeling, West Virginia, but I would do open mic nights. I would drive like I can't remember, Tuesday night or Wednesday night, drive to Pittsburgh about 45 minutes and do like you get 5 minutes and try it out. And that didn't go as well largely, but as a result, it didn't seem like that much of a career opportunity. But YouTube, when YouTube came out, I thought YouTube was just like the greatest thing. And you see a lot of channels, and the content was not very good. And I remember looking at that and just having this moment where I thought, like, I'm not good too, like I could be just as not good as that guy. I should buy a camera. I also
have undiagnosed ADHD.
Yeah. So it basically stemmed from that. Basically stemmed from trying comedy that one time at school.
Awesome.
All right, so true or false, the potential for a Remy MTG Magic stand-up special is possible.
I suppose that's possible. It's you saying it out loud makes me think how long that would take to write.
I mean, you essentially do it every time you write a song. Like
yeah, that's probably true.
It's like every verse that you've written, if you just compiled them into a stand-up special, they're all jokes.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
To this day, I still remember your diabetes type 2 rap lyric, because quadruple entendre just sticks with your boy.
There's something about going week by week. You're just like, okay. And some of the videos I think are as short as like 30 seconds or something like that on the channel that I've done. But I guess it just keeps adding up.
Yeah, I mean, and then you have stuff like, correct me, is it Stan's Magic Shop in Lutefisk?
Oh yes, Sven's Comics in Lutefisk, the fake game store.
Yeah, they have like stuff like that just like permeates itself and repeats, and like now there's merch.
Yes. Oh man, that was so cool to see those. They arrived in the mail. Background for anybody listening of the show, Judge's Mail Sack on the MTGREMY.
A new episode just came out today.
New episode dropped. And I just have it sponsored by like this made up store, Sven's Comics in Lutefisk. My wife is from she was born in Minnesota. Family lives in South Dakota, and I had never heard of Lutefisk, but apparently Lutefisk is like a big thing in that area. So when I was coming up with the idea for the thing, I was like, what are these names, these street names, these town names, these dishes? So I just thought that would be a funny sponsor, Sven's Comics in Lutefisk. But I
have a lot of family from that area, the Wisconsin, like that upper area. And
yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird food, and everyone's got a real weird polite accent.
Cheese curds. I'd never had cheese curds.
Oh, they're great.
So good. Did you ever eat it by this? I'm going off track here, but I'm clearly very excited about this. Did you ever eat it at Culver's?
Yes.
I love Culver's.
Culver's is great.
Oh, I love Culver's. It's like, it kind of reminds me of Chick-fil-A, but I think the big issue with Chick-fil-A is that they don't have beef. Beef is good. Beef is so good.
I 100% back that. I like beef too.
This episode brought to you by beef.
By beef.
A beef hot take. A rare beef hot take.
It's a pro beef channel.
Yeah.
It's a beefy channel.
All of my Wisconsin time was always spent like over the course of like 3 summers where like we'd have these big family reunions for the my mom's last name is Coombe, Kumm. So we'd go there, you know, Grandpa Coombe, everybody, and we'd meet all of our relatives who did not pronounce it Coombe. And my grandpa would get all mad. He'd be like, "It's the Coombe family reunion." They're like, "It's the Coombe family reunion." They're like, "What are you talking about?" But you know, I'd go like 3 or 4 days early, and you know, my mom would just like put me to work, and my uncle would come in. He was like the mayor of the town. He was like,
"Oh, that's cool."
He's like, "Hey, what we're gonna have you do is you're gonna sleep on the Davenport all this weekend, but I'm gonna have you go out and do a little yard work before everybody gets here." It's just like, what? I don't know what a Davenport is, first off. But yeah, that whole area is just such a. There's so much cool stuff there too.
Yeah,
I think,
and the cuisine is next level weird.
I just look forward to when at some point in your life you open up a card shop and you open Sven's Comics and you call it the Real Fake Card Shop.
That would be that's a dream to aspire to. I think that's if you ever play Magic or something like that, there's a non-zero chance in the back of your mind that you're going to grow up and have a game store.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we've all had that dream.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for a couple of minutes.
At Sven's, every time you buy a box, you also get a slab of beef.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it'll sell out. It'll sell out.
It's too easy.
With a promo like that.
How are you not successful at that point?
Yeah.
A card shop and a butcher shop? Unbelievable.
You can make your own deck and slaughter your own cow at the same time. You know, it's the whole, you know.
It's efficiency, you know, because right now I'm going to 2 stores to accomplish those 2 tasks.
Yeah.
So it's good for the
environment. Man, you have multiple game stores that you get to play at. What formats do you play every week?
Mainly, so I used to go every week. I've not been going every week, which is a bummer. But in paper, I play Standard. Mostly, and that's historically been the draw at my local store that's gotten the most people. Now Standard has not been because I've gone in recent months and it's a smaller crowd, and I thought that was just like, okay, well, they weren't running the tournaments for over a year. Maybe it's a lot of people that have just kind of like me, just like kind of like trickling back in, didn't know that they had restarted, that type of thing. But apparently like the Modern Night and the Pioneer Night are pretty well attended.
Yeah,
so
Modern seems like it's the most popular format lately as far as Constructed is concerned.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
and then there's Commander.
Yes. So actually, yeah. So that is in paper. And historically, I never really played Commander. I always had a Commander deck, but I really never played much. But I started going with a friend of mine to Commander Night, and up until maybe 3 weeks ago, we had gone like every week for a long stretch. And then he was traveling, and then like plans do, that you like forget. You're like, oh yeah, well, let's do that thing that we were doing on Tuesdays.
I wasn't even that big of a Commander player until the pandemic, and then we started playing. We started playing on Zoom, and then Spell Table happened, and we could play on Spell Table, and then like now it's just like every Wednesday, me and the boys get together, play some dragons.
I like that. I always think like, oh, I should just like host Commander, instead of like, you always feel like you got to go somewhere, and then it's just this whole thing. But boy, the deck building aspect of Commander is kind of addictive, and like I kind of get it. I get it now.
Access to every Magic card, and you've got 100 of them. Yeah, like
yeah.
What's the what's the legendary? What's the one commander that you haven't built that you are most intrigued by?
Well, there's this. The deck that I just built was the first deck I made was just like a group hug type deck that just I put all my favorite cards in the deck. It is terrible, but I don't lose first because I'm quickly identified as not a threat. And everybody's like, okay, why am I going to attack him? He's just not going to win anyway. Except I do have a Helix Pinnacle in there. And one time I got it up to that's the card. If you get 100 counters on it, you win the game. I got it up to 100 counters. My previous record was 3 counters. So that's
a pretty substantial improvement.
Yeah, I mean
that's a big improvement. I was feeling like it was never going to happen, but it went on long enough that.
Wait, did you do it the fair way? Did you like?
Oh yes, because as a result of just playing all my favorite cards, I don't really have like a cohesive like structural synergies in there. So it was just basically okay. End step, tap my 12 lands or how many ever lands in my Soul Ring and just kind of did it like that. Then
15 mana at a time.
Exactly, just grinding, just chugging along, and physically, that's a lot of lands to tap. I had to use my forearm.
I know that you don't follow Eternal too closely, but you know the card Dark Depths, correct?
Yes.
Oh man, if you like Helix Pinnacle going hard mode, you will love Dark Depths, my guy.
That's a great idea, actually. Yeah.
You could remove an ice counter one at a time. Like that journey is it's a steep, long one.
I might throw it in there.
Then you get a 20/20 that's indestructible, and your opponent swords it immediately. You gain 20 life.
Yeah, such a life. But that's why it feels so good when it actually works out.
Yeah, my like instant win deck is Garth, and it's all gates. So eventually you get out Maze's End.
Oh, you showed me that. You showed me that deck. I hadn't seen that card, and actually that would answer the question. I do want to make a deck based on that.
Yeah, that deck is really fun, and it sort of like that's great. It has an answer for like everything you want to do. You could tear something or disenchant. Worst case scenario, you toss a Black Lotus down.
Yeah,
you could get a Shivan Dragon if you want to end the game that way.
Oh, I love that stuff because
it's a deck that like I built for like I think like $100 because the mana base is like nothing, and it has no reason, it has no right to be as good as it is.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the one I'd like to build most because all those cards that are listed on the in the text box like are just they spark joy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Chef's Kiss. It's like this is what I want to be doing in every format.
Oh man.
I was like,
I want to the commander. So I don't play commander for time reasons, but not that I'm not intrigued by the format. I do watch like a bunch of EDH content. I do like follow like all the big channels that like where people are actually playing. But the one card I've never actually seen in play that I desperately want in my head just explodes every like fun idea I've ever considered in that format. Is the Grand Calcutron, but it's silver border. Oh yeah, you can look up the Grand Calcutron. It's about to pop up on screen.
We'll pop it up.
Okay.
Tell me about it, Phil. What is the Grand Calcutron?
Yeah, I will pull it up so we can read it. I feel like it's the actual perfect card for what our podcast is. So the first line of text is that it can be your commander and it's silver border and it's not a creature. It's a legendary artifact. And it says, when it enters the battlefield, each player's hand becomes a program. Of course. But of course. A program is an ordered row of revealed cards. But of course. Players can only play the first card in their program, which we all know what that is. Of course. And if a card would be put in a player's hand from anywhere, that player reveals it and places it within their program instead. And at the beginning of each player's end step, if that player's program has fewer than 5 cards, they draw cards equal to the difference. Just the idea of just playing your entire program and then in your end step, just revealing 5 cards and back into your program and be like, I'm the Grand Calcutron.
I love that. I love
That
that.
sounds like the sort of thing that would get me murdered immediately in my command
No,
circle.
but the thing is that they can only play the first card in the program, Zach. Don't
Yes,
think that people
true.
can come
Yeah,
at
it
you. They
protects
can't
itself.
necessarily come at you.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like, I hate you, but I have a forest.
Yeah. It's like, you can attack me in 4 turns when your program allows it.
That's wild.
I hadn't seen that.
It's just so dopey, and I love it.
You know, I like stuff like that though. My favorite deck, the commander deck that I like to play is like, it makes goat tokens. There's like 3 cards that make goat tokens, and so I have those 3 cards, and I have a bunch of tutors, and no other win condition except for making goat tokens and putting counters on them. And it's so terrible.
Vinomancer, trading market, trading
post,
and the Cloud Goat Ranger.
Yeah.
So according to Scryfall, there are 13 goats in Magic.
We're gonna help you out right now. You're gonna add 10 cards to your deck.
There are 13 goats, one of which is from Unfinity. Park Bleeder is a goat, but it is eternal legal. So no worries about whether or not you can play it there. So there are 13. Unfortunately, though, there are no legendary goats. So 30 years in, Rosewater has done squirrels, we've done beebles, we've done clown robots, but we have not done legendary goats.
I think I just need to win the invitational.
Yeah,
I'm gonna design my own goat lord.
You could literally, if you won the invitational and it's just your face on a Magic card, the title of the Magic card just be Remy MTG the Goat. Legendary Goat Wizard.
Yeah.
I want to be the lord that like pumps everything like +3/+3. Like why +1/+1? It's been done.
All right, Remy, now's your opportunity. You know Mark Rosewater's listening. What's your you can design your invitational card. What is your card?
I think my first thought would always be like it would be like a 1-drop in white, because I like white. Historically that's the deck that I would play the most, White Weenie. But I also realized that like I'm like really bad at designing cards, because every now and then they'll like come up with a new 1-drop for white, and I'll look at it and be like, oh, that's kind of clever. Like I wouldn't have thought of that. Like my idea would be like, let's make it a 2/2.
You're like, this is a 2/1 like that sacks to make a guy indestructible.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's they're thinking outside the box. Like my head just doesn't work like that. I think now that we're saying it out loud though, just like Goat Lord, because like anybody who's going to historically, I think Magic's got staying power. I think people will be playing Magic years and years from now. How many Goat Lords are they going to make? So you could end up making a Goat Lord that people in future times are like, oh yeah, let me order up a copy of that Goat Lord that they printed back in 2023.
For reference, of the 13 goats that exist that are not tokens, 2 of them are green, 6 of them are red, and 5 of them are white. So goats pretty clearly in Naya. Would your invitational card be Naya?
I think I would want it to have as easy a casting cost as possible. I'm thinking this is and we're going to push limit. It's not a very popular tribe, goats. So it's going to be 1 and a white, and it's going to give your goats +3/+3. Mm-hmm. And it itself, you know what? We want to keep it fair. The goat itself is going to be a 1/1. It's going to be like a glass cannon of a goat. It's going to incentivize you to play goats. Currently, not many incentives except for humor.
Here's the thing: in the white goats, there's 1 goat that gives you 2 energy counters. And then there's another goat that when it ETBs, you get a sticker. So there's a lot of other resources that you're incentivized to play with once you're in goats.
I'm gonna look these up.
You could be the first. Your invitational card's mana value could just be an energy counter and a sticker. That's how you cast you. No mana. You have to have a sticker and an energy, and then you can play.
It'll be
Remy MTG to
groundbreaking
go.
at least.
Yeah.
It'll be groundbreaking.
Phyrexian mana, get that out of here.
My all-time favorite goat is definitely Mountain Goat from Ice Age because that's like early, Mountain Walk.
Iconic, yeah.
Geez, Zach just totally overlooking Zodiac Ghost from Portal 3 Kingdoms. Unbelievable.
I was out before Portal.
Zodiac Ghost is a red for a 1/1 with Mountain Walk, my guy.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I gotta see these.
Sounds like he's biting off Mountain Goat a little bit.
Here's the thing. Zodiac Goat is a functional reprint of Mountain Goat, and Mountain Goat does make sense to have Mountain Walk, which it does. So, I mean, if you're worried about whether or not you can design cards, Remy, just know that they went from Zodiac Goat to Mountain Goat.
My early takes at card design included things like I added Cloud Walk to a creature, which was like if you were attacking into your opponent, if any of his cards had clouds on them, he couldn't block. I didn't exactly understand the rules of the game when I started creating Magic cards.
You gotta care about the artwork. I get it. Zach, what's your invitational card?
I mean, I think it would be some sort of like Gruul version of Deathrite Shaman, but like it does all the opposite things Deathrite Shaman does.
Oh, I like that.
It like puts things back from exile into your graveyard and gains you life, and then you could unban Deathrite Shaman because then it would probably be Selesnya, so you couldn't play with it and Deathrite Shaman. At least not in the deck that it would normally go in.
Bill, do you have an invitational card that in mind that you would dream up?
Competitively, I would just want to. I would want Force of Phil, Magus of the Sensei's Divining Top. But in reality, in reality, what I would actually submit is my name and then exactly Grand Calcutron's text.
You're like, this is a tournament legal Magic card now.
So just that's where it's at. That's if I could stroll up to Eternal Weekend in a week, and my opponent just goes turn 1 Delver, and I'm like, cool, dude. Turn 2, go Grand Calcutron, go.
Yeah, I mean, Phil, that's actually how they make Magic cards over at WotC. Is like one guy is in a room and comes up with an idea. And then 3 years later, they're like, well, let's put this into an unset. And then 3 years after that, they're like, let's put this into a regular set.
It's the minor leagues.
I think the thing that if I were designing a card, just the stuff that I love so much is when they just create new lingo and then they have to explain that lingo on the card. And usually they restrict that to like maybe once per card. But Grand Calcutron is just every line of text. It's like, here, do the thing. And then in parentheses, this is what that means. And then the next line is, here's also a new thing. And then in parentheses, here's that thing. I just love it's just so God, I love it. I would never be upset about losing a game if I got to just turn my hand into a
It'd
program.
be like if they had you write out all of Questing Beast.
So I'll say the Questing Beast, I think, is of all of the cards in Magic that I hate the most. Questing Beast is probably it, because Questing Beast, first off, it's not a goat, so let's just
strike one.
Like, okay, Questing Beast, like mythical chimera, not goat. But also, it's one of those things where it does all of the things, none of which you can remember, and then it also doesn't. Leaves you no options other than to do only one thing. It's like, hey, you can attack, and you don't have to choose the planeswalker or the player because you can attack both effectively, and your opponents can't block. And if they do, their creatures die. And if you don't attack, well, why wouldn't you? Because it has vigilance. And also, it's just like, wait, okay, so I always have to do the exact one thing with this card every time. Like, I can't. Do you know that is so antithetical to my Grand Calcutron aspirations? Where who knows what's going to happen?
We've hit a sore spot on Questing Beast for Phil.
Like Questing Beast is on the opposite end of the spectrum of Grand Calcutron. Questing Beast is the same gameplay every time, no matter what. Grand Calcutron, that's nobody lives the same experience twice.
No, that's one of the it's not the beauty of Grand Calcutron. It's one of the many beauties of Grand Calcutron.
I'm gonna. So one thing is that Grand Calcutron is a legendary artifact, and this conversation has inspired me that when I win the Invitational and submit the Grand Calcutron, I am going to submit it with the subtype Goat.
Goat. Yeah.
Oh
Goat,
yeah.
Goat artifact.
Yes,
Obviously.
yes.
Yeah.
The Grand Goat Cutron. It's gonna be tough, but I think Rosewater will buy it. He likes the crazy stuff.
They got font size, adjustments.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, we all have to submit whatever card makes it so it's just the maximum that they can fit before they
at like a
like, we can't
6-point
do
font.
Yeah,
you just
it's like the legendary enchantment artifact, whatever.
The booster pack actually comes with one of those little magnifying glasses as well.
This is actually making me think, Remy. What's the card that is there a card that you like that comes to mind for you that's the one that you've always enjoyed playing against? Like your opponent plays it and you're like, oh yeah, I love this card. This is always fun to play against.
Yeah, that's a good question. I like playing, not a card. I mean, probably colors. I like playing against green and red. Specific cards, I can't think. But any card that honestly just makes the game interesting, I'm definitely into. I didn't grow up with fancy things like planeswalkers, so like those make the games interesting for sure. But sometimes, exactly. Even though you have a lot of decisions on how you use a card, you know exactly what somebody's going to do with it. So it's not that.
All right, Rosewater has come back. He's heard your desire for an invitational legendary Goat
Lord.
And they're like, look, our file for the new set, we can't fit. We don't have enough support for Goat Lord, but we do have a slot for you as a Planeswalker. What are the abilities that you would like us to give you? What are the abilities you're putting on there?
Yeah, so after about 9 months of being a diva, because I did win the Invitational, I'll have one of my several agents that I've acquired in the wake of my championship reach out via FedEx letter.
You're paying for that. You're paying for that expedited shipping. I like that.
As a gentleman would. As a gentleman would.
I think I definitely draw a card. I know that. I definitely draw a card, but I tick up. I tick up when I draw a card. The invitational card does. It's a goat. Officially it's a planeswalker, but it's a goat planeswalker.
Yeah, it works like Grist, where it's like an insect in every zone.
Yeah. +1, draw a card. You can reveal the card. If it's a goat, you get a goat token, so it has a friend.
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful ability because you have potentially 13 hits.
Yes.
In a 4-of format, that's like your whole deck.
Yeah, so it's high risk, high reward.
Don't even get me started on changelings. Like we're already in it.
Oh, see, you're already strategizing here. Minus the minus ability. I don't know if it's 1 or 2. You have to play test.
They got to test it. They got to play test it.
You get an emblem that says goats you control get +3/+3.
Pretty powerful if you're getting all those goat tokens.
An emblem.
But
not trample. That's a bridge too far.
Yeah. No. I mean, we don't want to get it banned on day 1 here. And then the final ability would let you search your deck for another copy of the exact same planeswalker and put it into play.
Just blow it up.
That's pretty good. You ultimate the legendary Remy MTG Goat Planeswalker to just get another copy of it at a lower loyalty and then just start ticking back up again.
It's just nonstop. Really, if you're going to have to price this thing accordingly mana wise, because it's going to be pretty impactful, I think.
Awesome.
We'll get it back and they'll be like, so we thought it was fine. All of your conditions were fine. We added that whenever a goat token deals combat damage to a player, you get a sticker.
As it should be.
Oh, I know you've got to go pretty soon, but I wanted to round out the cast with two more things. Do you have anything coming up for the holidays that you're planning that you might want to, that you got like going on?
Yeah, I'm hoping to do like some sort of holiday video. I think that would be a lot of fun, and just trying to put out something fun that hopefully folks will enjoy every Wednesday.
Yeah. The final thing is I know Phil and I have talked about this a lot, and every now and again in our Discord someone mentions it, but we would love to at some point in the future like do a collab with you on a like music video. That'd be really fun.
Oh, I think it'll be tons of fun. I think it'll be tons of fun. And I mean, just look at this. We had so much fun just chatting over Zoom. I think we could have a ton of fun working on something like that together.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'm ready to come in with my rap verse about the Grand Calcutron. So
I think we have our topic, honestly.
I think we figured it out. It's all about the Grand Calcutrons.
The legend of the Grand Calcutron. Just this epic...
Goats and Calcutrons, yeah.
All right. Well, I think that we should cut it there. Remy, it's been a blast having you on. Thanks for coming in, man.
Oh, so fun as always. It was great talking to you guys.
Yeah, we got to do this again, but sooner next time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that does it for us this week. I want to thank our Patreons, and remember, like and subscribe to the video, and that's it. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll catch you next week.
Hey, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out this other video, and if you can, please support us on patreon.com.